Hey there, everyone. Bobby D here with Inspire Hearts and Virtual Event Fundraising. And I am joined by two amazing gentlemen, my new friends. I've got Ryan Romans and Peter Eichler with Blue Water. And what these two gentlemen do is, just create amazing event experiences, whether live or virtual. I'm just excited to have them on here. So Peter and Ryan, thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thank you, Bobby.
Thanks, Bobby.
Awesome. Okay, so Ryan, tell me, Blue Water. What is this Blue Water?
Yeah, so Blue Water is a live events integration communication company. So we cross kind of all divisions, really just creating like really large scale or small scale events that kind of just really further communication between people,
okay.
And really kind of try to be innovative in the way that they approach different segments. So recently we just produced an event for Blizzard Activision. So we just led the Call of Duty live tour. It's the first time they've ever attempted such a thing. So
cool.
An enormous tour that was planned during the course of 9 months and completely deployed. So of course we were sidetracked a little bit by current events.
Yep.
That has now gone to a completely virtual model.
Nice. And now I just saw this come out today that you were involved with Gamers for Giving. I think raising over $600,000. Let's talk a little bit about what that looked like.
Yeah, so we have done their event as a physical event for the past 3 years at Eastern Michigan University. This was the first year that they were forced into a virtual event,
Okay.
So they were a little unsure about how to handle that. We've got tons of really brilliant minds at Blue Water that kind of could give them some advice on how to transition to an event and still have a successful fundraising. What they do is that Gamers Outreach every year, this is their main fundraiser. They try to raise as much money as possible. They build these things called go-karts. The go-karts are brought into children's hospitals, and they're a way to divert and entertain children that maybe have to be in hospitals for like a terminal illness that are there for a long term.
Right.
So really good charity and a really good fundraising solution for them to get money to those kids.
Wow. So then all these gamers coming together on like a platform like Twitch or something, and everybody's kind of focusing towards this one point, right?
Yeah, so the live events piece of it for the past 3 years was a huge LAN party. So they would have over, I think last year they had over 500 different streamers that would get together.
Wow.
On site and all plan a localized LAN. And that content would be broadcast and streamed across Twitch, YouTube, a couple other platforms. This year it's all digital, so everything through Twitch.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. So now, Peter, you talk about an event, whether it's live or virtual, is an event. Let's talk a little bit more about that. It really kind of quaked my brain. And when that brain quake happens, that's like, I know there's a lot of people that are feeling that too. So let's talk more about that.
Well, we're experiencing a disruption in the market. Let's just call it what it is, right? And it's one of those situations where change is hard. And change is also scary, especially given the climate that we're in. So one of the things that we've been working really hard towards over the last few weeks within our networking community of colleagues, event planners, clients, you name it, whoever's there with us, because we're all in this together, is to help understand that an event is an event that's an event.
Yeah.
Whether it happens in person in a ballroom or whether it is fully virtual and no one is in the same room together, there's a lot of similarities on the fundamental aspects of an event that in moments of change we can forget about. Yeah. So we're looking to, have those conversations to help reconnect everybody with, okay, this is all very similar in this, in A, B, C, verticals, but then in X, Y, and Z, it's different. And this is how it's different. And that's how it impacts. And we've discovered that as we're able to help form conversations for people that are working with us or working with others, that kind of takes the stigma and the anxiety that's wrapped around taking something into such an unfamiliar space, such as a virtual space. It just kind of melts that all away. And everybody starts understanding, oh, this is possible. Is it going to be different? Yes. Is it still possible? Absolutely. Am I able to get my message across? You better believe it. And what's kind of a silver lining about that, and I hate using the term silver lining in this situation, but it really is a silver lining, is that we're all in this together.
Yes.
So that means that it's not like one person trying to make a virtual event happen and everybody else isn't really paying attention to it because we still got all these live events going on. Yeah. We're all at home. We're all managing new schedules. We're all managing new situations with families and How do we work these dynamics from our personal life to our professional life now that has no boundaries whatsoever? And we're all trying to figure it out together. And it's that broader sense of community that we're really working to tap into and help, those that need the guidance. We're here to help guide, and we're help to just to help support as we all go through this.
For sure. And like you said, it's like, yes, it is scary because there's a major disruption going on and this is something new, but change is always scary. And you're right. An event is still an event and we're still going to follow the recipe. But it's really about, creating that experience that the viewers and the donors, want to be, engaged in. So let's talk a little bit about those engagement tools that Blue Water uses to really broadcast out, but then also, cast that engagement in.
Absolutely. So we have, from our personal, just, I guess, shelf of products or, capabilities that we have the ability to be able to take meetings into more of a virtual space, but yet keep that engagement piece as high as we possibly can. And what that looks like is we have the ability to take virtual, locations or multiple locations, such as kind of where we're at, right? We're all in spots. And we're able to funnel it together with technology and then also broadcast that out into one stream and one deliverable that really creates a high impact for those that are consuming it or those that are the guests of the stream, right? Those that would be in the room in the first place.
Right.
But then back to my earlier point, the fundamentals, the bones are still there. So we still are working with our clients to help understand, okay, what is your message? What is your story?
Yep.
What are you trying to achieve? All right, let's talk about the tools that we have that can help you achieve that. You're looking to, produce X, Y, and Z gains on such a fund, or you're looking to build an endowment, or you're looking to get this, this initiative down the road from, an urban farming or planning standpoint. Whatever the initiative is, there's always those tactics to be able to get that into the market and to get traction and to get that ROI. And we've got plenty of tools in our tool belt to help make that happen.
Awesome. And I think a lot of people might be concerned too that virtual events might not have the same, face-to-face emotional touch points that real events like live events pieces have.
Right.
There's tons of situations where I've seen it be actually more successful. So for instance, I attended BlizzCon in Anaheim this year. BlizzCon's situation was that you could buy a physical ticket, go fly to Anaheim and be in attendance for the event. There was 5 main stages, all with content that you could view, sometimes happening at the same time. So Blizzard and Activision specifically, because their product is a digital product, producing video games, they can offer special incentives to people to buy a virtual ticket that they can only get by buying that virtual ticket. The other great thing was that sometimes virtual events have like a large priority gain over physical events. So if I'm standing in there, I have to shuffle through a crowd of people for 20 minutes to get from stage A to stage B.
Right.
To watch these two things. If I'm virtual, I can watch both at the same time.
Wow.
Back and forth. So it's actually like a benefit. So
nice. And then
we've been approaching virtual events from a couple different standpoints. So you can go fully virtual with an event. We've been looking at touch points where we can send kits out to people that wish to host an event, so they can set up a really nice event space within their own home.
Nice.
To really get message across. Multiple people can host panels. So we've been approaching it in a bunch of different ways and really trying to innovate within the space. Like how do we connect with people in that same live events way?
Nice.
The other thing to keep in mind too is just different elements that we can, that are still alive in the nonprofit world. Like we just, I had a conversation with a partner, colleague of ours over on the West Coast, and she just produced an event for a nonprofit that the auction actually had to go completely virtually. I mean, this was right when the state of Washington was about to do their shelter in place.
Yep.
So all this was happening at what was perceived at the time not good timing for the nonprofit. On the back end of the event, they realized that their auction was actually way more successful because it was done virtually. So there was a couple of more interactive touch points they're able to layer in with the technology that they engaged. But more importantly, B, you got a captive audience. Nobody's going in. So that's something to keep in mind too, is that who is your audience and what are they up to right now? We're all trying to keep busy, we're all trying to keep life moving in some way, shape, or form. So we're not as I think inherently we're not as distracted as we typically are in our go life now that we've all been forced to take a step back and to pause. And so for nonprofits, I think that's actually benefiting them to be able to have more of a captive audience. Now, with the climate being the way that it is, and might not push the same type of financial results just because of maybe people aren't able to give, or there's some nuance there. But at the end of the day, the awareness and the visibility, I mean, that's gold. And that's so important at this point in time.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. It's those things that are more valuable than just cash themselves. It's that awareness, it's engagement, it's a capturing that information and building that relationship with their new donor. It's how do you do that? And I've actually been doing a lot of research of virtual events that have been happening. And, this is just people telling stories, but at the same time, a lot of these events are actually raising more than previous years. They're engaging, they have a larger broadcast, but they are, some of my colleagues in the auction space, they're actually raising more money, which is exciting because it's like, yeah, this is scary. But if you use the right tactics, you work with the right pros, you work with the right vendors, and you create the right story, you can, really set that up. So, hey, real quick, as we are kind of wrapping this up, let's talk about, working with, vendors such as yourself and kind of, maybe that investment or something like that, because I know that that's scary and nonprofits are really concerned about all the money that's going out now. But let's talk a little bit about that.
Absolutely. We're so the product that we bring to the market is more of a high-end product, right? So we've got many skilled people on our bench that have years and years and years of experience and can also, bring a lot of cool things to the party. So that being said, we do work with nonprofits at times that may have a little bit of sticker shock. However, when we can work with a nonprofit, we will work with a nonprofit because we're also family owned. We're also have that smaller type company feel, even though we've experienced some really nice growth for the last 5 to 10 years. We're not going to go away from our roots, and we're going to we understand internally what it means to support mission-driven work.
Yeah. If I can add something to that real quick too.
Yeah, of course.
So not only are we family owned, but we're also a women-owned business. So there's some financial incentives there as well.
Nice.
For nonprofits. And so when we work with any nonprofit or any client in particular, we have a creative strategy team that can work with those clients to really develop the event around exactly the size and scale that they're willing for a spend. So if a nonprofit only has a certain amount to work with, we can devise a very good solution for what they're trying to achieve based on client budget. So
absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
And that's a big piece of it, is we want to be able to work with the team, right? So it's one of those things where it's like, we don't throw our pricing out on the market because it changes for everybody, because every event's different, right?
Totally.
So it's one of those things where we would just love to have the conversation and to work with a nonprofit, and also be very straightforward that if it does come to a point where it does tend to be cost prohibitive, the conversation's not done. We're going to help make referrals. We're going to help make connections, because at the end of the day, mission-driven work is important, and we want to make sure that any nonprofit that we engage with is set up for as much success as we can possibly provide for them.
Yeah, and finding a great company like Bluewater too. So we're a turnkey solution for all the live events needed. We also produce content in-house. So if a nonprofit's looking for content, we can help them with that. We can really assist all the way across the board, from live events to fabrication to content to everything. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Good. Well, wonderful. Well, I want to thank you both, Peter and Ryan, for being a part of this with Bluewater. You can check them out at BluewaterTech.com. I'll make sure I put all your links below, so that if anybody wants to reach out and have that conversation, you're there to help them. So gentlemen, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Bobby.
You're welcome, Bobby. Thank you.
All right. Well, again, Bobby D here with Inspire Hearts and Virtual Event Fundraising. Nonprofits that are out there, you, my friends, are doing work that matters. And we are changing the world for the better, and the world needs to be changed. And you're doing all that great mission-driven work, and just continue to be awesome. And we'll see y'all next time. All right. Happy fundraising. We'll see y'all.